హాయ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, ఇవాళ మనం న్యూస్ చదువుకుంటున్నాము.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma.
హలో నమస్కార్, దిస్ ఫస్ట్ పోస్ట్ యువర్ వాచింగ్ వాంటేజ్ విత్ మీ యుక్త గుర్రం.
Two weeks after Pakistan sued for peace,
2 weeks after Pakistan sued for peace,
2 weeks after it lost to India in the wake of Operation Sindoor, there are
2 weeks after it lost to India in the wake of Operation Sindoor, their army chief
chief is touring the world. Field Marshal
is touring the world. Field
Asim Munir is
Marshal Asim Munir
being accompanied by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif.
is being accompanied by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif.
Their first stop is Turkey.
Their first stop is Turkey.
We'll tell you what they said, what they did, and what
We will tell you what they said, what they did, and
it means for India.
what it means for India.
Back in Pakistan, the defense minister is dropping truth bombs. The one and only
Back in Pakistan, the defense minister is dropping truth bombs, and
Khwaja Asif is
one and only Khwaja Asif
targeting the US again. We'll tell
is targeting US again.
you what this is about.
We will tell you what this is about.
Meanwhile, India continues to grow.
Meanwhile, India continues to grow.
It has become the world's fourth largest economy,
It has been the world's fourth largest economy,
beating Japan.
beating Japan.
On the eastern border, Bangladesh is pestering.
On the eastern border, Bangladesh is pestering.
After the resignation drama, Mohammad
After the designation drama, Muhammad
Yunus is coming up
Yunus is coming up
with conspiracy theories. We'll tell
with conspiracy theories.
you what he said now.
We will tell you what he said now.
Why Donald Trump is now calling Vladimir Putin crazy.
Why Donald Trump is now calling Vladimir Putin crazy.
How a Liberian ship with hazardous
How Liberian ship has hazardous
cargo sank off the coast
cargo sank off the
of Kerala.
coast of Kerala.
How Trump's battle with American universities
How Trump's battle with American universities
can be an opportunity for India.
can be an opportunity for India.
What is Macron's mission in Asia? What's the third way that
What's the Macron's mission in Asia? What's the third way
he's talking about?
that he is talking about? The Vietnam
Belgium. How
to Belgium. How
this is proving to be the summer of bad tourists.
this is proving to be the summer of bad tourists.
And year after year, the story of the monsoon
And year after year, the story of monsoon
mayhem in India does not change. All this is
mayhem in India does not change.
more coming up. The headlines first.
These are all more coming up. The headlines first.
Hamas agrees to a Gaza ceasefire proposed by the USA.
Hamas agrees to Gaza ceasefire proposed by USA sources. Under the
Agreement, there will be a truce
agreement, there will be a truce
for 70 days and
for 70 days, and
Hamas will release 10 Israeli hostages in 2 batches.
Hamas will release 10 Israel hostage in 2 batches.
Reports say during the truce negotiations,
Reports say during the truce negotiations
would begin on a permanent ceasefire.
It would include
It would include guarantees from Washington.
It would include guarantees from Washington.
Israel is yet to agree to the
Israel is yet to agree
proposal.
to this proposal.
Iran rules out suspending its uranium enrichment, says
Iran's rules of suspending its uranium enrichment says
such a condition cannot be part of any nuclear deal with the United
such
States.
a continued be part of any nuclear deal with the United
This
States.
has been one of Washington's key demands since April.
But this had been one Washington key demand since April.
Iran and the US have held 5
Iran and US has held five
rounds of nuclear talks.
rounds of nuclear talks.
Trump called the latest discussions in Rome, quote unquote.
Trump called the latest discussions in Rome, quote unquote,
Very good. But Iran
very good. But Iran foreign minister said it
complicated.
was complicated.
Diplomatic row between Germany and Uganda
Diplomatic crowd between Germany and Uganda escalates.
Kampala suspends all defense.
Kampala suspends all defense
Military cooperation with Berlin.
and military cooperation with Berlin
Its army accused the German ambassador
after its army accused the German ambassador
of engaging in
its subversive activities.
Berlin has called the allegations absurd, and Ugandan army.
Berlin has called the allegations absurd. The Ugandan army
is led by the president's son.
The Uganda army is led by the president's son. President's son.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's party
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro party
sweeps the
parliamentary
and regional elections. The opposition had boycotted the polls.
The opposition has boycotted the polls.
It was to protest Maduro's disputed
It was the protest Maduro disputed
election last year.
re-election last year.
For the first time, Venezuela held elections.
For the first time, Venezuela held elections
For the Essequibo region.
for the Essequibo region.
It is an oil-rich territory that Caracas
It is an oil-rich territory of Caracas
claims
claims
from neighboring Guyana. And Saudi Arabia denies reports that it is
Saudi Arabia denies reports that
lifting its 7-decade-old alcohol ban.
it is lifting its 7-decade-old alcohol ban. Reports
Claim that the kingdom would legalize alcohol.
Report says that kingdom would legalize the
All at 600 tourist sites
alcohol at 600 tourist sites by 2026
before it hosts the FIFA World Cup in
before it hosts the FIFA World Cup
2034 and
in 2034 or
major international events.
in international events.
In 2024, a shop in Riyadh was granted permission to sell
In 2024, a shop in Riyadh has agreed permission to sell
alcohol to non-Muslim diplomats.
alcohol to non-Muslim diplomats. Have you heard of a lap of honor?
It's usually done by sports teams. Once
It
they
is usually done by sports teams. Once they
win a tournament or match,
once, once they win a tournament or match,
they take a lap of the stadium. So
they will take a lap of the stadium.
it's like a victory round.
Short, short like a victory round.
But Pakistan is doing its own thing. Their leadership
But Pakistan is doing its own thing. The leadership
is on a lap of disgrace.
is on a lap of disgrace.
After losing to India, Pakistan
After losing to India, Pakistan
is reaching out to its friends.
is reaching out to its friends.
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is visiting four nations:
Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is visiting four nations: Turkey,
Turkey, Iran, Azerbaijan, and
Iran, Azerbaijan, and
Tajikistan.
Tajikistan.
On Sunday, Sharif reached the first stop, Istanbul.
On Sunday, Shabish reached the first stop, Istanbul,
In Turkey.
Istanbul in Turkey.
Guess who's traveling with him?
Guess who's traveling with him?
Freshly minted Field Marshal Asim Munir.
Freshly minted Field Ashif Ashim Munir.
Clearly, warfare is not his expertise, so
Clearly, warfare is not his expertise.
maybe he's trying his hand at diplomacy.
Maybe he's trying his hand at diplomacy.
But seriously, Pakistan is not even pretending anymore.
But seriously, Pakistan is not even pretending anything anymore.
It's only been 15 days since the ceasefire, and Munir
It has been 15 days since the ceasefire, and Munir
is already abroad.
is already abroad.
On paper, Shehbaz Sharif may be leading this delegation.
On paper, Shehbaz Sharif may be leading this
But let's
delegation, but
be honest here.
let's be honest here.
This is an Asim Munir show.
This is Ashif Munir show.
Even Turkish President Erdogan knows that. He hosts
Even Turkish President Erdogan knows that. He
the Pakistani delegation for talks
hosted the Pakistani delegations for talks
yesterday.
yesterday,
And look at where Asim Munir is.
and look at where Ashif Munir is.
Right next to the Pakistani Prime Minister.
Right next to the Pakistani Prime Minister.
Probably sums up the difference
It probably sums up the difference
between India and Pakistan.
between India and Pakistan.
India is sending 59 lawmakers to 33
India is sending 59 lawmakers to 33 countries.
countries. And Pakistan is sending its army chief.
And Pakistan is sending its army chief.
Anyway, back to Istanbul. Sharif thanked Erdogan
Anyway, back to Istanbul. Sharif thanked Erdogan
for backing Pakistan against India.
for backing Pakistan against India.
Called Erdogan his dear brother.
He called Erdogan his dear brother.
And the pictures back it up. Look at Sharif
And pictures back it up. Look at
and Erdogan holding hands and walking.
Sharif and Erdogan holding hands and walking.
One a power-hungry autocrat, the other
One a power-hungry autocrat, and the one
a powerless rubber stamp.
and other a powerless rubber stamp.
It's a picture-perfect alliance. Of course,
A picture-perfect alliance.
Pakistani trip is complete without a request for
Pakistan, no, of course, no Pakistani trip is not complete without request
funds. And this
for funds, and
one was no different.
this one was no different.
Sharif pushed for joint ventures and
Sharif pushed up for joint ventures and
investments, including in the field of defense.
investments, including in the field of defense.
On his part, Erdogan also urged
On this part, Erdogan also urged
cooperation.
more cooperation, more cooperation.
He also said that Pakistan and Turkey must jointly combat terrorism.
He also said that Pakistan and Turkey must jointly combat terrorism.
What a great thought.
What a great thought. How
Starting with the terror sponsor you're hosting.
How about starting with the terror some sort you are hosting
Right now.
right now?
All these statements and gestures make one thing clear.
All this and gestures making one thing clear:
nexus is not weakening. If
the nexus is not weakening.
anything, it is strengthening.
If anything, it is strengthening.
Last week, India had publicly called out Turkey.
Last week, India publicly called out Turkey. New Delhi
cautioned
Ankara against
supporting Pakistan.
supporting Pakistan.
We expect Turkey to strongly urge Pakistan to end its support to cross-border terrorism and take credible and verifiable action against the terror ecosystem that it has harbored for decades now. And relations, as you know, are built on the basis of sensitivities to each other's concerns.
Bye, friends.